There are a lot of young people in the church who are interested in careers in science, technology, engineering, and medicine. What can we do to help encourage them and help them catch a vision for what it might be like to be a scientist and a Christian? I'm joined today by Dr. Bob Nisbet, who is a plant biologist and a Christian, to help with that question. Bob, what can we do to help encourage young people who are thinking about going into careers in science? How can we help them to recognize ways in which they can serve God as scientists? Can science be ministry?
Particularly the kids that I've worked with in this context are those that are Christians. Mm-hmm. I've had to interact with some non-Christian, but primarily it's the Christians who are faced with this apparent dilemma. Mm-hmm. How can we go into science? How can I use science to help me in my life or my ministry as a Christian? Mm-hmm. And so one of the most effective approaches that I've taken in the past is to show the students that God solved a problem. You know, when he created man, or when he even considered creating man, he knew he had a problem, because he knew that creating man as he had planned to create man would generate this problem. And it would be inevitable that man would sin. And so he had to solve that problem up front. And he solved that problem in Jesus Christ. But then science, I tell them, is an explanation of the context of the world in which God solved that problem. Now, one of the central themes of conservative Christianity is that God created the world as a background on which to paint the gospel and to give us a story of redemption. And in fact, the world is in the process of being redeemed, not just us, because God cursed the ground as well as cursed Adam and Eve for their sins. And he is in the process of redeeming the whole universe. And science gives us an opportunity to study the context, this milieu, this background, this canvas upon which God painted the redemption story. And I found that as I study the elements, the aspects, the dimensions of this background, this canvas, I get to understand more about the God that we worship and adore.